In 2020, J.D. Vance never said anything about the election being stolen. He was too busy Googling the best way to 69 a futon. And that same year, before he made up the Haitians eating dogs story, he tweeted, "Trump makes people I care about afraid. Immigrants, Muslims, etc. Because of this, I find him reprehensible. God wants better of us." When Vance refused to concede that Trump lost the election, which is interesting because CNN found an interview Vance did.
Ever seen a politician do a complete 180 so fast it could cause whiplash? Well, grab your neck brace, because JD Vance's flip from Trump critic to Trump defender is about to take us on one wild political roller coaster. We're talking deleted tweets, baseless claims, and enough hypocrisy to make even seasoned politicians blush. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how Vance went from tweeting his Trump fears to trumpeting Trump's praises. We've got the before, the after, and the what the heck happened in between. It's a transformation so dramatic it makes Superman's phone booth changes look like a minor wardrobe adjustment. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive in. Do you recall when JD Vance compared Trump to a clown at a children's birthday celebration? Fasten your seatbelts, because we're going back in time to when Vance was more than happy to cast a shadow on Trump. Our buddy JD had a very different take on Donald in 2016. He was the de facto leader of the anti-Trump movement, not only a critic. Vance was furiously tweeting, vilifying Trump in a way that would embarrass even the most seasoned sailors. Those tweets vanished as quickly as Trump erases White House records, but the internet has a way of remembering. One of the most popular songs by Vance. As far as he was concerned, Trump was reprehensible. Oh no, I wouldn't call that a term of affection. But hold on a second, the slurs weren't the last thing Vance did. Extremely pessimistic, he said Trump was leading the white working class to a very dark place.
That when he said he wanted peace in the world,
Vance thought he could control Donald Trump?
Yes, he did. And when he found out when he found out that he couldn't, they all turned on Donald Trump.
Good call, Nostradamus.
All of these people, Jake, they came into office thinking that they could control Donald Trump.
Including the former vice president, Mike Pence. All of these people have this horribly damaged worldview, and they're all just going after Donald Trump because they want to send people into war.
This is truly an optimistic view. What made Vance so opposed to Trump though? Our former redneck turned Harvard grad apparently had some principles when he was younger. I know, it's shocking. The impact of Trump on the same individuals he professed to support was a source of concern for Vance. He went so far as to claim that Trump had cast his loved ones afraid of their own country, comparable to asserting that the Kool-Aid man induces a fear of walls. Vance went beyond the usual targets, Trump's ideas and his hair, in his criticism. But no, he attacked Trump's persona, describing him as an idiot, and even going so far as to call him noxious. It's like pointing out the obvious when you say a skunk smells bad. Nevertheless, the most alarming aspect is that Vance was not a mere anonymous Twitter user. Both writers and critics held him in high esteem. What he said was significant. His criticism of Trump prompted many to pay attention. As a conservative who could explain why Trump was terrible, he became beloved by those who wanted to see Trump removed from office. So why would someone have such a dramatic change of heart? If someone were to become a Trump supporter, what type of mind-bending, reality-warping event would have to happen? Got any cash? Power? Was the original JD Vance kidnapped by extraterrestrials and replaced with a clone who loves MAGA? Has anyone ever witnessed a chameleon changing its color? Those small lizards were no match for JD Vance. Our boy JD pulled off a switcheroo in 2020 that would have sent Trump's golf cart racing through the air. But the million-dollar question is, how did MAGA achieve this incredible transformation? Imagine this, JD Vance is a candidate for Ohio's US Senate seat in the year 2020. Before you can say political opportunism, Vance is singing a different tune about old Donnie. He seemed to have a sudden epiphany after gazing into the mirror first thing in the morning. You know what? The color orange has just become my fave. While interviewing with Trump that year, Vance shifted from describing the president as reprehensible to raving about his foreign policy. His gall was on full display when he accused Trump's detractors of harboring a horribly damaged worldview. This is a classic case of hypocrisy in action. He previously claimed that Trump was taking them to a very dark place. I suppose it wasn't that dark there after all, JD. Now that even a gymnast would be envious, what's the deal with this flip-flop? How much? Power. Was the original D Vance kidnapped by extraterrestrials and replaced with a clone who loves MAGA? It seems that plain old political opportunism might be the answer. Guys, I know, it's shocking. Ohio has gone absolutely bonkers for Trump. There was a meteoric rise in the number of MAGA caps, and Republican supporters were as devoted to Trump as a golden retriever. Being anti-Trump became suddenly more popular than a skunk at a garden party for a senatorial candidate. But Vance isn't the only one. It seems like politicians are all trying to do a Trump. They go from slamming him to pleading for a retweet in the span of a day. You never know which way the weather vanes will point next. It's like watching a tornado unfold. Would Vance go to any lengths to demonstrate his allegiance to Trump? Will he begin donning a MAGA hat before going to sleep? Perhaps he will propose encircling Ohio with a wall and levying a tax on Michigan to cover its cost. It would not be surprising if Vance offered to be Trump's personal golf caddy given his current trajectory. You may recall a time when flip phones were popular. Well, D Vance has just made them trendy again, but he flips them like a speed demon. What leaps from describing Trump as reprehensible to virtually licking his feet brings up the $1 million issue, though. Who wants to see what's behind the MAGA curtain? The Trump defense tour, spearheaded by Vance, is underway, and it's a monster. He's gone from being an ally to a detractor in the time it takes Trump to tweet co-fave. Vance seems to be trying out for the MAGA choir these days. All adulation to Trump. Even more absurdly, he asserts that peace through strength and other Trump administration foreign policy initiatives were resounding successes. He seems to be residing in a parallel reality where the art of Twitter diplomacy is genuinely effective. But hold on a second. Not content to merely defend Trump's ideas, Vance is now attacking his new best friend and everybody else who dared to disagree with him. People like John Bolton and John Kelly, who were officials under Trump. Vance claims that they are little more than bitter losers who were powerless against Trump, similar to a soap opera, but with more conspiracy theories and less appealing characters. As far as conspiracy ideas are concerned, Vance possesses an abundance of them. He asserts that Trump is being targeted by a far-left fascist agenda. Because fascism is the epitome of the far left for Christmas, someone should get Vance a dictionary, in my opinion. The true killer, though, even after Trump's loss, Vance refuses to acknowledge it. Reality seems to be his ally in his I'm rubber, you're glue game. In response to questions about his previous criticisms of Trump, Vance plays the tried and true "you're taking me out of context" card. When it comes to politics, it's like saying, "the dog ate my homework." How are the people responding to this seeming lack of consistency? Yeah, it's all over the place. People in Ohio are perplexed and may be considering a personality transplant for Vance. While some nod in agreement, others may be thinking, yeah, I'd sell my soul for a Senate seat too. What about the news? They're absolutely thrilled. For political analysts, Vance's metamorphosis is like a tasty treat. They're making a big deal out of his resemblance to previous Republicans who have pulled a Trump two-step. It's like the political Macarena, only with more cringe and less joy. Vance has gone to extremes in his support for Trump that make the publicity squad of Kim Jong-un appear sophisticated. He's not merely riding shotgun on the Trump train. He's directing, buffing, and perhaps attempting to gold plate the entire operation. Let me tell you something though, this act of political juggling, sticking the landing, isn't exactly what it is. While Vance may be fooling himself into thinking he's landing a perfect 10, others are seeing more of a faceplant. We have just begun the Flipflop Feast, so be sure to stay tuned. The answer is unclear. Who knows? Maybe Vance will try to persuade us that Kafef can solve the world's peace problem next week. Vance believes he has perfected his Trump impression, but is anyone falling for his cheap imitation? Who's applauding? Maybe we can find out by looking beyond the red curtain at the people who are groping for the spoiled tomatoes. The political acrobatics of Vance have farther divided Ohio voters than a vegan convention pizza. While some Republicans are ecstatic, others are confused and may have even asked if Vance received a Trump bobblehead transplant. As a matador taunts a bull, Democrats are enjoying themselves by dragging out Vance's previous anti-Trump tweets. The juicy part, though, is here. The percentage of the population that approves of Vance is as unstable as a kangaroo on a trampoline. Voters on the moderate side are feeling queasy from all the ebb and flow of his support, like a political soap opera where the protagonist is torn between being the hero and the villain. You may be asking, yeah, well, at least Vance is making a killing, isn't he? Yes, I agree with you. Money is being tossed around by Trump supporters like confetti at a MAGA wedding. The shocking part, though, is that this sum of money is causing more heads to turn than a Botox convention. Some are beginning to question whether Vance's recent affinity for Trump stems more from his relationship with the Benjamins than his actual ideas. Even more shocking is the fact that several Republicans have begun to demand an explanation from Vance. Are you kidding me? They want him to talk about his change of heart over Trump as if he were a child who got caught with his fingers in something sweet. It's as though they say, JDs, we love the Trump love, but could you at least pretend you didn't hate his guts 5 minutes ago? Plus, the press is really thrilled. There are Vance's new pro-Trump anthems playing next to his anti-Trump clips from the past, as if they were his greatest hits. It's as if Vance underwent a complete personality transformation rather than just a hairstyle change, as shown in a typical before and after makeover presentation. Has Vance been successful in his Trump dance? I mean, it's the question that everyone is asking. We can see through his political prospects like mud through a MAGA hat at this point. Even though he is currently riding high on Trump's popularity, that may all change if the political tides turn against him. Without a doubt, Vance's reputation has been smashed more times than a piñata at a children's birthday bash. His rapid transition from esteemed writer to political omen has been more dramatic than a flip-flop.